Welcome to Recap Our Studio.
This movie is based on an actual event. The action took place in 1928 in Los Angeles. Walter Collins, Christine Collins' 9-year-old son, gets awakened by her in the morning. They share a home. The mother commutes to work and drops off her kid at school. Christine works in telecommunications, and her day is filled with frantic activity. When Christine picked her kid up from school, he inquired why his father abandoned them so soon after his birth. Christine said that the father's fear was purely related to his responsibilities. The mother promised her son that they would go to the movies together the next day in the evening. She was instructed to report to work, nonetheless, in the morning. Because it was Saturday, Christine didn't want to do anything, but she was forced to. It was necessary to put off going to the movie theater until tomorrow. Walter was furious, but the mother made a quick vow to come back. Christine was getting ready to leave work after staying till 5 o'clock. Ben Harrison, her supervisor, who seemed to be entirely happy with her job, detained her even though he had previously been hesitant to consider employing a woman as a dispatcher. After arriving home after missing the trolley, Walter was nowhere to be seen, but his meal was still in the refrigerator. Christine rushed outside to check for her son out of concern, but none of the kids saw him. Christine made a police report. The police officer said that when 24 hours have gone by after a person vanishes, they begin looking for them. She'll have to hold off until the morning. Christine sobbed helplessly. A police officer did show up in the morning. Soon after, parishioners were asked by Pastor Gustav Breedlove to assist in finding missing Walter. From the pastor's perspective, the corrupt Los Angeles authorities would not help. James Davis, the chief sheriff, never does his duties with financial gain in mind. James was in a terrible mood as he listened to the preacher on the radio. It's been a few weeks since Walter vanished. Her co-workers support Christine as she seeks assistance from specialized agencies that look for missing people throughout the state during breaks. In Illinois, a guy claimed to have misplaced his wallet in a cafe 4 months ago. He promised to return in 10 minutes and left his kid here as security. The evening arrived, and he was still absent. The eatery staff summoned the police. The police visited Christine's workplace. Captain Jones announced the great news that Walter was alive. Christine sobbed joy after learning that he had been discovered in Illinois with a tramp, and her co-workers shared her happiness. Christine was taken to the railway station by Jones. Reporters were around because everyone enjoyed an excellent happy ending. When the train came, Christine hurried to greet her son but realized it wasn't Walter when she saw him. Jones started to reassure Christine that her concern was unfounded and that the kid may have changed in the intervening 5 months. The young man identified himself as Walter Collins, my mother. Christine refuted it, saying she could distinguish between her kids and someone else's. Jones pleaded with Christine to bring the kid home since he was out of options. Christine struggled to respond to the reporter's many inquiries. She was forced to bring the boy home. Even though Christine knew it wasn't Walter, she attempted to express care for the youngster that evening. She became entirely sure when she saw that the kid had been circumcised. He was also a little shorter than Walter. Christine asked the youngster to identify himself and explain why he was in this place, but he remained silent. The next day, Captain Jones was informed by Christine, but he dismissed her worries as unfounded. Perhaps she had miscalculated the child's height. Jones was unreceptive to Christine's insistence that it was not her son. He believes that Christine is merely straying from her responsibilities as a mother. Kristen's house was visited by a doctor who arrived to resolve the situation. The kid was shorter than Walter, which the doctor ascribed to stress. Christine could not accept the doctor's repeated claims that the kid was her son. She phoned Captain Jones and expressed her outrage. Christine is baffled as to why the cops aren't searching for Walter right now. Christine shattered the plate in hysterics when the kid contacted her mother, telling him not to do that since he wasn't her son. Christine later apologized to the kid after cooling down. After all, he is just a youngster and has no idea what he is doing. Christine is puzzled by the boy's assertion that he is Walter. She got a call early in the day. Pastor Gustave Briquet Lab was there. He told her to read the newspaper this morning before coming to see him. In the newspaper, Kristen saw a story about a mother who won't care for her own kid. The cops are allegedly concerned about Walter's safety since he has returned to his subpar mother. The pastor said the cops did this because they were unwilling to acknowledge their error. Because of the Los Angeles police's lengthy history of breaking the law, Briquet Lab won't simply leave it there. The cops will try whatever to make Christine seem bad, but Briquet Lab will assist her. After inspecting the child, the pediatric dentist concluded that it wasn't Walter since he had an entirely different bite. The physician consented to draft an official report. Mrs. Fox, the youngster's teacher, said that it was not Walter and that the boy had no recollection of her. If required, Mrs. Fox is prepared to provide written documentation and have it verified in court. Bree Glove reminded Christine that he anticipates seeing her on the radio today. She then addressed the media, claiming that the hunt for a genuine son had been suspended due to police oversight. After hearing this, Miss Jones became enraged and asked a helper to bring Christine in. Jones informed Christine that she had set them all up. He maintained that Christine did not belong on the streets of Los Angeles because she was either mad or sought to avoid her parenting obligations. Jones requested a nurse and gave the order to transfer Christine to a mental institution. They pushed her into a vehicle and drove her to the hospital, where they treated her. Christine reported that while the staff believed the lady was insane, the police intended to get revenge on her. She was thoroughly examined after being thoroughly cleaned with a hose. Christine requested authorization to phone or speak with the management, but patients have no rights at this facility. Christine was driven insane by her roommate's repeated use of the same phrases. Detective Lester Barra, in the meanwhile, asked the passerby for directions to the Northgate Ranch. The driver of the automobile in the rear seat did not know that he was armed. He also seemed to be exceedingly anxious. Lester came to the property in pursuit of the adolescent. The youngster fled and barricaded himself inside the home when he saw the officer. Lester had the legal authority to smash through the door since he had a warrant for Sanford Clark's arrest. The investigator surveyed the residence. The adolescent suddenly assaulted him, but Lester quickly subdued him and took him into custody. The boy must be deported back to Canada since he is in the country illegally. Christine's absence from the radio program worries Breedlove. The preacher immediately recognized what had occurred to her. Gordon, the man from the street, arrived at the railway station to purchase a ticket. At the hospital, it was time for breakfast. There was nothing Christine wanted to eat. She was urged to have breakfast by a different patient called Carol since she must make every effort to seem normal. She can only go if she takes this opportunity. Carol said she was also there because the cops didn't like her. Many ladies here fit that description, the whole public now. They are insane individuals who shouldn't be taken seriously. As he waits for his turn at the police station, Sanford is engrossed in unsettling recollections. The police officer who brought the boy here was approached for permission to speak with him. Jonathan Steele, the attending physician, called Christine and tried to maintain his composure. She stated that the incorrect youngster had been located by the police, who refused to accept their error. The patient was questioned whether she had seen a change in the people around her for some time. According to the physician, Christine could not separate her delusions from reality. To speak with Sanford, Lester consented. The kid told him about the ranch's owner, his cousin Gordon Northcutt. For assistance, the cousin allowed him to reside on the ranch. Sanford only afterward recognized that he had been duped. He was being made to do awful things by Gordon. Lester was unable to comprehend what was happening. He was astounded when Sanford said they were hunting down and murdering youngsters. Sanford resisted doing it. However, Gordon yelled at him. According to the adolescent, there were roughly 20 victims, and 1 or 2 of them managed to flee. Sanford remembers how he and Gordon were getting ready to commit another crime when they noticed the little child on the road. Gordon told the little boy he needed to take his parents to the hospital immediately because they had been in an accident. The youngster boarded the automobile at the property after seeing the other child and feeling at peace. The victims were imprisoned in the henhouse. Each of them had a sad ending. Sanford sobbed freely at the moment, intending no damage to anybody. The shocked investigator asked him to name a person after displaying several images of the missing lads. Sam carefully examined the images before placing some of them in a different pile. Walt Collins, a 9-year-old, was one of them. Captain Jones said the youngster fabricated the whole story after hearing Detective Lester's account. A group of demonstrators and Briquet Lab visited the policeman. Lester was instructed by Jones to bring Sanford in and to be quiet. When Breedlove learned that Christine Collins had been sent to a mental institution, he wanted to know what they had done to her. The preacher realized what had occurred right away. Christine argued that she was quite well and refused to take her medicine. She was forced to sign a paper acknowledging that the police had located her true son by the attending physician. Christine was taken away by the medical staff and made to take the medication since she refused to do so. Carol defended Christine and even punched Jonathan as a form of retaliation. As a result, she was brought to the treatment area and given electroconvulsive therapy. Lester withdrew Sam from the police station and instructed the 2 partners to go with him. Later, Christine saw a semi-conscious Carol removed from the room without Jones' knowledge. Meanwhile, Christine paid Carol a visit to her room and expressed gratitude for filling in for her. Carol wants Christine to locate her son and be free. Lester and his companions returned to the property and started scouring the area. Then Lester instructed Sam to demonstrate where they buried the bodies. Sam picked up the shovel and started to dig when the police first came upon the corpses. They had been stunned. The whole county police force was instructed to arrive by Lester. Lester started to comfort Sam as he started to cry. It was 6 days. Christine continued to object to taking her medicine. The doctor decided to pursue electroconvulsive therapy as a different therapeutic option. Thankfully, Breedlove showed up in time. He instructed the chief medical officer to read the newspaper item announcing Christine's discharge. The awful discovery at the property was reported in the newspaper. Jonathan was clutching. When Christine learned that Walter was probably not still alive, she stepped outdoors. She almost passed out. James Davis assigned Jones responsibility for every incident. Not only have the police not located Walter, but also his mother has been admitted to a mental institution, which has infuriated the public. Lester interrogates the youngster who had been playing the part of Walter all along after Jones is forced to reveal his error. The young man said that all he wanted to do was go to Los Angeles. Christine is supported in every way by Breedlove. Since she has nothing left to lose, she is no longer terrified. Gordon visited his sister in the meantime and requested permission to remain for a few days as soon as the brother departed to use the restroom. The couple made a police call, and the police quickly detained Gordon. Since the police department intended to place all the responsibility on the kid and Christine's poor conduct, Bree Gleb recommends Christine to his acquaintance Mr. Hahn, a lawyer. She has to sue. In court, Mr. Hahn will present her case. Lab Hahn and Christine return to the mental institution with a request that all ladies who have been detained there by the police outside be released. Carol and Christine exchanged